Hey, this is Chris Brown. I'd like to demonstrate my app that I'm working on this week for CIT 365. The application that we are working on this week is for a university. So it's a university themed website built off of the Contoso University tutorial. One of the first requirements is that we use an image on the home page that depicts the university setting. Now, I actually decided to name mine Brown University, and in fact, there is a Brown University for real in Rhode Island. And so I grabbed a picture from them, and that is what I've got on my home page here. So you can see that I've crafted my home page to look like a university might look, including the information on there, and you know, feels to me like an appropriate home page for a university. Another requirement that we were supposed to do is to use a shared Google font. In fact, I am using 3 different Google fonts up here. I'm using the Merriweather Google font, this nice looking font here, and down here is the Italiano font. And then everywhere else I'm using the Oxygen font because it's very readable. Another requirement is to add a color scheme to the project beyond the black and white that the tutorial delivered, and you can see obviously here that I am using different colors which are present throughout the whole site. Another requirement was to make sure that all the labels on all forms and reports are appropriate, and so want to show an example from the departments page. When you either edit or create new, this used to say instructor ID as the label. And so you can see that I have changed that to be administrator, which is what the label should be for that particular element. So that's an example of where I have done that. And then it just talks about using good PARC principles for formatting throughout the site, and hopefully as I go through the demo here, you'll be able to see that. And then one of the last requirements is to make sure that your name and contact information are on the About page. So let's take a look at that. Here's the About page. Basically just identified what I used to build it, that the copyright for that image belongs to the real Brown University, and presented my contact information down here, including an email link and a Facebook link to my Facebook page. So that's the About page. So let's just do a quick walkthrough. I've got a page for students where you can create, list, edit, delete students. Let's go ahead and just do quickly a create. And first off, I'm just going to hit the create button so that you can see that I do have edits on here that are being applied and won't let me create that without entering a real name. So I'm going to go ahead and add a student here. And let's just pick a date, January 4th of this year, and call that good. And we'll go ahead and create. And you can see there is Marianne Clark that was added right there. Okay. Now I can also edit that. And so for example, if I want to edit the date, let's say it was really January 2nd instead, make that change and save that. And you can see that changed date is now reflected here. We can look at the details. We can delete that record. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the one that I just entered. and can you see now that it is gone. I do have paging. You can see that that paging works. I have sorting on the last name. That works. I have enrollment date sorting. You can see that that works. So that's the basic CRUD functionality, and that's present on every section of the site here. So I probably won't walk through that in detail on the other sections, but just wanted to show you that that functionality does work. So we have a page for courses, and we can add new by doing the create new. We can edit, we can look at details. I'll just quickly look at those. We don't necessarily need to make any changes, but you can see they look very much the same throughout the site. Okay. We have a section for instructors. And so one of the unique things on this section is this select item here, where I can select a particular instructor. I can see the courses taught by that instructor. I can hit select on those, and then it opens up and you can see here are the list of students that are enrolled in that course. And of course that's all functionality that was provided through the tutorial, but it is all working. And then we can look at departments. Again, just your basic CRUD kind of functionality. As I pointed out earlier, changed the label on this to make sure that it was appropriate. The drop-down box does work, as you can see. And if we go back to instructors, you can also, if we do a create new there, one of the things that was a little bit interesting was this series of checkboxes to get it to format and look halfway decent. Took a little bit of work, but I'm pretty pleased with the results. It's not perfect. Obviously, if the form was wider, these would probably look better, but I also wanted to preserve the column layout there, so that on a smaller device that it would still look good. So that is pretty much my application. And I hope that you've enjoyed looking at it. Probably before we go, I ought to do one thing for you and show you the responsiveness of the application. So here it is. You can see on a Galaxy S5 type device, or if we choose an iPhone, if we looked at an iPhone X, an iPad, and you can see that the nav bar does change a little bit on an iPad, kind of opens it up, and then on an iPad Pro spreads it all across like this. So it is responsive. We can even go back to some of these, drop down our hamburger menu. You can see I can go to students, I can do a create new, same functionality, looks good on even a small Galaxy S5. And I'm not going to go through the whole site in terms of the responsiveness, but just wanted to demonstrate that the responsive aspects are there. And that pretty much concludes my demonstration. Thanks for watching.